Everyone. Thanks for joining me for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Keith Armour. I'm the Education and Homework Support Manager down here in the Adult Learning Center at the main library. Today's Lunch and Learn, we're going to look at all of the resources that we have available so you can find a recipe, find a good cookbook, find some courses, find some magazines that all center around cooking. Now, of course, the weather has changed this week. It's gotten a little bit warmer. We start seeing the first bit of spring, so we're kind of excited, but it's still time to hunker down and, of course, maybe find a new recipe. So we're going to dive in and look at all of the resources that the library has for you to find a new recipe and really get cooking. All right? All right, we've arrived at our wonderful website, cincinnatilibrary.org. We're going to come right over here up in the search feature, and we're going to just type in cooking. Let's just type in cooking. And the results we get back are actually 21,000. There's over 21,000 just with the keyword cooking up here. You'll see there's a whole bunch of different formats here when it comes to books. We've got lots of audiobooks. We have some movies and DVDs. We even have some music with the title, with the subject cooking, the keyword cooking. So you can see your salsas and tacos, American Girl cooking, fairy house cooking. So if you're having a little tea party for some little kids, that would be kind of fun. But there's a lot to search here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to actually move it from keyword. We're going to actually put it to subject, and then we're going to search. And you'll notice we have some magazines that come up. Here's Country Living. Here's the Food Network, Cooks Illustrated. There's the Barefoot Contessa, the Kitchen Front, Cincinnati Food. That is a great book, and that's by she's retired, but she was the food critic for the Cincinnati Enquirer. We have that. It's available too. I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to narrow the search just a little bit more. I'm going to actually type in cookbooks, okay? Because we're trying to find a recipe. There's the Barefoot Contestant. If you haven't watched her show, it's really kind of fun. She's always cooking for Jeffrey, her husband. And you've got desserts, you've got Milk Street Cookish. Here's the step-by-step instant pot cookbook, the Skinny Taste, Magnolia Table, and we have her newest book, which is 2020, and then we have an older book that was 2018. You can have 100 cookies, but just with cookbook alone, there's over 16,000. Okay, so there's no need to go out and buy a cookbook. And the reason why we'd like to thumb through those cookbooks and we say, oh, that looks great. And then we actually buy it, we bring it back home. We cook that one recipe and then the cookbook just sits there. And it looks really nice, but we don't do that. So before you buy a cookbook, save yourself a little money. Make a little test run with the cookbook with part of the collection at the library. Now, what we did was we did put together one little short list. Let me go back to the list. This one is on the list. Here we go. So we created a little list for you. Cook your way to better health. We just took 24. We know that spring is around the corner. And we know that sometimes people like to cook a little bit healthier so they can look kind of fun for the summer months. So we put a collection of that here. And then, of course, we've got all sorts of things here. Here's the Dude's Diet Dinner Time. 125 cleanish recipes for weeknight winners and fancy pants dinners. You gotta love that. I'm gonna click on that one. And here it tells me it's an ebook, and I can show more here, and I can read the whole thing. And here's 125 crowd-pleasing recipes to hack the Daily Dinner Dilemma. All right. And this can actually be found on Hoopla, so I could check that out. Right now it's available, so I could go ahead and check that out. A lot of these cookbooks and a lot of the things I'm going to show are available right now. So we'll provide you a list of those things here. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the main page and we're going to go to books and media right here. And I'm going to go over to stream and download. And we're going to go to the very first one, which is, we're going to actually go down here to Overdrive, and we're going to go to use on a browser. I'm on my computer, so it opens up, and obviously there's a whole bunch of things on here that you could check out that I've talked about before. But we're going to come right back up here. We're going to go to subjects. And let's look at the different subjects. Obviously, we're going to pass up fiction. We're going to come down here to nonfiction. So we come down this aisle, and here's cooking and food. There's over 3,000 for cooking and food. So I'm going to click here. And you'll notice there's a bunch. Here's a cookbook over here. 30 minutes, diet cookbook, kitchen without borders, all sorts of different cookbooks. We have the low sodium, big flavor. Okay, let me go ahead and click on one. Let's click on, let's click on this one right here. Rodney Scott's World of Barbecue. And you'll notice it says coming soon. This is a pre-release expected to be part of our collection on March the 15th. And a lot of people don't realize that the library is allowed to go and buy and purchase books before they're released. So they might be released on a Tuesday, but the library actually has the books as well. So you can always place a hold on it. Now, this book, I can read more about the description here. And he's a James Beard award-winning chef. And also now one thing that I can't do here is look at the sample. Sometimes there's a sample, but because this book is several weeks away, they don't have a sample for us to look at, okay? So I'm going to go back and let's look at another one. Here's another one that we're waiting for. And same thing, that one's going to be released on the 15th as well, okay? Now, if I'm seeing coming soon, wait list, keep moving. And coming soon, coming soon. So there's a lot on here. I'm going to come up here in the search, and I'm just going to actually type in cookbooks. And look, these are all available. Oh gosh, we're talking about something delicious. Taste cheesecake. Here's Lizzie's Amish cookbook. Here's Vegetables Unleashed. I'm trying to find one that I would want to do. Oh, here's the chefs and the slow cooker. Let's click here. Now, right here, it says I can borrow. There's 4 out of 4 copies that are available. And I can see I can obviously read the description. I can read the details. And this was actually released in 2017. I could read a sample, clicking right up here. And the sample comes up, and it's going to give me the introduction. And, ooh, this one actually also, well, it seems a little dangerous to do. You're cooking right next to the bath, but you can see here are the table of contents. They're going to go into stock. So they're going to take it all the way back, but they're going to also tell you a lot more. But look at how much of this sample that I can look at, okay? The library does not recommend that you use your slow cooker or anything next to the bath. So just keep that in mind. So I could borrow that right away, and that could be part of the collection. Okay. So I do want to look at, let's go back one more and just look at all of the ones that are here. And it's going to tell you if there's a wait list. And here's Lydia and a lot of very famous people that you've seen definitely on PBS. She does a great series that's on there, and her mother is even on the series sometimes. So here gives a little bit more about Italy and America, and it actually goes over some other recipes that would be in her cookbook here about different Italian recipes across America. So you can read a sample again, and it even tells us, she's going to tell us a little bit more in the sample. It even tells us the wait time is probably going to be right around 4 weeks. And I love ebooks when it comes to this, because sometimes it's even better having the recipe and you can blow up. You can make the actual recipe look a little bit bigger, so you can see all of the ingredients that are there. The one thing that I do want to point out is obviously you can search cookbooks here. That's an easy way to do it. But you can also go over to magazines. Click on magazines, and we have, a boatload of magazines. I'm just going to type in cooking and do the search. And look at all that come up. And look at where it says available. Every one is available. So if I wanted to go over here to Cook's Country or the Food Network, let's go to the Food Network. Now the Food Network, this is the magazine that's coming out March the 1st. And magazines always come out practically the month before, but this is the pasta issue, and I could read a sample, and it's going to show me a little bit of the magazine. Actually, I scrolled through it earlier, so there's more to the magazine. Obviously, it's going to feature what I love about this magazine, it gives you all of the recipes that are in it. And then you can actually, when you're doing the electronic magazine, you can literally click on it and go right to that particular recipe. This is not a good thing to read if you're really, really hungry, because the next thing you know, either you're going to cook it or you're going to get in the car and go to a fast food restaurant and just eat something that you really don't need to eat. But I love this magazine. It's a really good magazine. It's available to anyone with a library card, and you can check that out. I'm going to skip out of that. And another thing that if you don't necessarily like this particular, the pasta recipe, well, you can come over here to select another issue. So if you missed the January, February issue, you can click back here and you'll see that that was all about pizza. That might be a little bit more friendly for the family. There's the barefoot Contessa right there. But if I found something very interesting. If we go back to March of 2020, look, there's pasta again. And then if you go back one more to 2019, March 19, it's pasta again. So apparently the Food Network likes to have March as pasta month. So just keep that in mind. But you have other magazines as well. I'm going to have to skip all the way back. One right here is Cooks Illustrated. This is the March-April issue. And what's great about Cooks Illustrated is they have illustrations. So if I look at read the sample, and look, here's some quick tips, and they're going to actually show me some illustrations on how to do a particular technique that is featured in the magazine, okay? And they're going to give me a table of contents. And, I looked up how much Cook's Table, Cook's Table magazine was, and it's like $41 on the newsstand. They do 6 issues a year. So you would save a lot of money simply by using our magazine service here to find out more about, um, you know, recipes that they use on America's Test Kitchen. And it's just such a great way. You've got recipes that are right there for you. Let's type in one that my mom uses, Better Homes and Gardens. You can always go to Better Homes and Gardens Australia, but we're going to go to Better Homes and Gardens. And here is one for March. And once again, I could go back in time and look at the February. I could keep going back. I could even load more. So it goes back pretty far for older magazines. But I could read a sample. But, Better Homes and Gardens has also a lot of recipes as well. If we type in here, country living, and there's country living. You can see Country Living sometimes also has some recipes as well. All right. So we're still in Overdrive Libby, but we're in Overdrive, and I picked Overdrive for a particular reason. I'm going to go back to the main collection, and then I'm going to go to collections and over here on video. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to see all video. And I'm going to scroll down. There's all the different videos that we have, but I'm in the video section of Overdrive, and I'm going to click search, and I'm going to type in cooking. And look, here are the magazines again. But I want to actually go over here on the side to videos, and there's 31 streaming videos here. You've got some episodes of the America's Test Kitchen. You have some that I just don't see how they relate to cooking. Oh, here we go. Here's fast food here. Cooking with Kids. And some other ones. Now, I was looking for one called and if we just type in baking, we have all of those that are coming up. You've got the great British baking show. And let's click on that one. And here's the recipes that would be highlighted there. So that's a really good source there to type in. Now, the videos, if you're going to watch any of the videos, you're going to have the Overdrive app. So that is something that's the reason why we got into Overdrive. Before I forget, let's go back up here we're going to go back to the main collection. We're going to go to streaming, download. We're going to go right down here to one of my favorites, of course, Canopy. We're going to view in the browser. And right up here, I'm going to type in cooking. And I'm going to go, I could click on any of these. I don't know about cooking kangaroo. I don't know about that one. Cooking ingredients, technique, and flavor, braising and stewing, combination cooking. I'm just going to go down here where it says subject and cooking. Now, it comes up here, and you can find about James Beard, America's First Foodie, and that's from PBS. And there's all sorts of them here. Here's Bounty from the Sea, Southern Italy. If I click here, this is episode 4 of the Everyday Gourmet, The Joy of Mediterranean Cooking, and this is a great course. And there's actually 16 episodes of this series. Now, because it's a great course, it does not count against your 20 that you have in Canopy for each month. So you can actually watch all of these. There's a whole bunch of different videos that are cooking related. Here's the joys of olive oil, the butter and cheese. You got classical Italian cuisine, foundations. Let's click on that. That looks interesting. The foundations from the south of France. Okay. And this is again part of the series of Everyday Gourmet. And you'll notice there's the pizza again. But if we come up here, let's go up here again and type in cooking once again. And right down here where it says GC, that's great courses, click there. And it gives us no cooking. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let's put cooking in here again. Here, let's click on this one instead. And this, of course, is still the series about, now this is from Everyday Gourmet, but this is Rediscovering the Art of Cooking. And this has 24 series. It's 24 episodes in this series. And it's going to go over every little thing. So you would have a nice course on how to do things in the kitchen. And, you know, once again, totally free. Eggs from classics to contemporary. And this is, of course, another episode from the Everyday Gourmet. So there's just a multitude of different cooking shows that you can watch. And of course, with Canopy, you can actually stream it directly to your smart TV through a device, through Apple TV, through Google, through Roku, a lot of different ways that you can watch these shows. And you don't get it counted against you because it's a great course. I'm going to show you one more thing in here. Let me go back to the main page again and go under, oh wait, we're going to go to research databases. We're going to scroll down here to online courses. And we're going to scroll right here to Universal Class. And of course, when you use Universal Class, you have to put in your library card and your PIN. I'm going to sign in. And I'm going to go up here to Browse Courses. And look at all of the different ones that are here. There's so many here, but I'm going to just type in cooking. And look, baking and cooking 101, Spanish cooking, Italian cooking, Tex-Mex cooking, all about herbs, cake decorating. You've got all of these. You can even bartending. You can take a little class on bartending. There's bread making, how to bake cookies, pie baking, tea parties. So there's a whole bunch of courses here. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Tex-Mex cooking, there is a video audit. So you can just watch the videos here, and they're going to go over 12 different lessons. Gives you a course description, and then it tells you each lesson what it's going to be about. So check that out. I think the Great Courses is really fun on Canopy, but when it comes to Universal Class, you can actually take a class and you'd get feedback because you actually have 15 exams and assignments. It would take you about 8 hours to go through this, but you'd have a really good mastery of Tex-Mex cooking. But you can just watch the videos that are associated with it. And then, of course, you're going to go through different things as well. And of course, this is under areas of study, so cooking and baking, and you can see their most popular ones here are right there. Those are the most popular ones. So definitely check out Universal Class. Now, I do want to point out a few things here. I'm going to go to events right here. I've already bookmarked this for our time. Tonight, of course, is our virtual cookbook club, and it is Lori over at Oakley has put this together, and I'm just going to click on this. And what she's done for the next several months, and it's the last Thursday of each month, February, March, April, and I do believe May is in here as well. But she highlights a cookbook, and then they discuss it. They discuss and try one of the recipes. So you can look, and it's probably a little too late to look up the recipe from Cooking for Jeffrey. There's the Barefoot Contessa again. But each month she actually features a different cookbook, and they look at the recipes, they maybe cook a recipe, and then they discuss it. So I thought that was kind of a fun class that I did not hear about. Of course, we have our free meal service. Don't forget that we have the wonderful people from UMC Food Ministry and La Soup that is bringing meals to people that need them, children, and of course, families. And you can check that out on our website as well. We do have a class that's coming up from the Adult Learning Center, and that's baking muffins for beginners. And that is actually going to happen March the 27th, so that's a while away, but you could check out that class as well. Now I'm going to click out and look at regular events. Excuse me. We've got our writer in residence that's going to talk about Black history, and that's coming up tomorrow on Friday from 12 to 1. We have also a bunch of different make and take crafts all throughout the system. Drop in, play, and learn pointing cards. That sounds interesting. That's over at Green Township, and that's birth through preschool. And we've got, of course, all of our virtual story times as well. So definitely check that out. Now, speaking of checkout, it is the last week of our checkout challenge. It goes all the way through Sunday, February the 28th. This is a challenge for adults, so you definitely want to check that out. There's wonderful prizes you possibly could win if you do at least 5 of these challenges, and you have plenty of time to do some of these challenges. You've actually already done one by watching this video, and that is attend a virtual event. Okay, and then you could stream a video on Canopy. You could watch one of those courses. You could definitely read one of the books or check out one of the magazines that I featured today. All right, so I'm going to click out and tell you a few more things. And hopefully, if you cook something, you could always drop it off downtown for me. Thanks. All right. All right, that was a lot, I know. There was a lot of books, there's a lot of magazines, there's a lot of courses, there are all sorts of different resources that are just a click away that's going to save you money. Magazines cost a lot of money at the newsstand. Online courses cost money, but your library card really, there's a return on investment for you as a library card owner. So make sure you have that. And check out all of our virtual programs. That virtual cookbook club sounds so fun. I think I might need to join that. It meets at the last Thursday of each month. For this month, it's happening tonight. And then, of course, it happens in April and May as well, from 7 to 8. Check that out. That's from Lori over at Oakley. So she'd be really happy to have you join. And, of course, beginners, if you want to learn how to make muffins, Taylor will be able to help you out with that virtual program. And all of our other virtual programs too. We have a lot of story times. We have our make it and take it. And of course, we still have our winter checkout challenge for adults. That ends on Sunday, the 28th. But you could still get what you could enter yourself into get one of those prizes. So check that out. It is coming on to spring, and one of my favorite things to do in March is always go to Bachfest. And sadly, Bachfest is not happening this year. It's happening virtually, We're going to explore that, but we're also going to explore the resources and the information we have about beer, one of the most popular things in Cincinnati and at my house as well. So check that out next week for Lunch and Learn. I'll see you next week. Thanks.